Welcome to Phillies Post Game Live, presented by Cure Auto Insurance. 6-4 Phillies at Chicago's Wrigley Field. Ricky Vitalico, I'm Michael Barkan. Ricky Bo, this was a comforting win, and it was an important win. It was comforting because we wanted our fears allayed, because this team has been playing .500 baseball over the last 18 games or so, since London, really. And they took it on the chin, I would say, against Miami, even though they split with them.
Split.
So you go to Chicago without missing your three big guys, and to win it like this, and 6-4 I know, but really 6-1 except for one mistake.
I think you're quite out of your mind.
You are.
Okay, just
to
start with,
I mean,
the Phillies are 27 games over 500. 27 games over 500.
Yeah.
They are doing their job. They are without Bryce Harper. They are without Kyle Schwarber. They are without JT Realmuto.
Yes.
They've been without Trea Turner this season. So I mean, it's been a fold over thing where guys have been, you know what? Okay, injured, then you're back, injured, then you're back, then boom, boom, two guys go down. It's not that easy to win like that. I think people have to understand one thing. When you are filling in for these guys, obviously you're trying to do the best job you possibly can do, but there's a reason why you're a bench player.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
Yes, it
There's
is.
a reason why you're a bench player. And usually that reason is like, how long can you go? Like, how streaky could you be in a good way for this ball club? But right now, I think you have everybody filling in. You look at what happened in early on in this ball game, and I'm not talking Trea yet, because Trea was his Trea today. But I will say this much. You look at the bottom of the order early on in the ball game. That's where the runs came in early on, right? That's what you need. You need everybody to chip in at certain points during the ball game.
Yeah.
And I think the Phillies have done that very well. Yes, you're going to hit some rough patches. There's 162 games. Okay, one of us sitting at this table bailed on them in the first series of the year, but I don't remember who that was.
I'll tell you what, they were done. They were finished after the first series. It was over. Guess who's not finished? Ruben Amaro Jr. He's got work to do. He's here for a full half hour, maybe an hour.
Yes.
We don't know. There he is in Chicago, Wrigley Field.
No, you guys keep going.
Okay,
just
wait,
keep
stay
going,
right there. We'll
Ricky.
get right back.
We'll get back to you in 10 minutes then. All right, see you later,
I'll see
Ruben.
you guys in a minute.
See you in a minute. No, Rube, when you look at this, and I just said to Ricky, who I think misinterpreted what I said, I said this was an important win, but it's a comforting win because they are without Harper and Schwarber and Realmuto, and the Cubs have a winning record at home. They're a major league team, so to see them for the most part put a 6-1 spot on them until the very end, I like that. I think it's a great sign, don't you?
It's a terrific sign, and I think it starts really with the manager and the coaching staff. I mean, obviously the players have to play, but the thought process is basically, hey, no big deal. We've lost some guys, hey, and they're great players. They're all-star type players, but we've got other guys here who can help us win baseball games, and that's exactly what Garrett Stubbs had a big hit. Cody Clemens had a big hit. Obviously, you had Trea Turner, who is a all-star and an MVP type player, have a huge game. But then, you had Mercado pitch really, really well. So, this is one of those things where there's an attitude in that clubhouse, regardless of who is out there making the pitches or taking the at-bats, that they really feel that they're going to contribute to a win. And that's an attitude that starts at the very top and works its way all the way through the rest of the ball club.
Ruben, the one thing I saw with Mercado tonight, there was no panic, no anxiety, it seemed like. I mean, usually you come up to the big league level, and I know he had a relief appearance last week, but starting rotation and getting your first start at the big leagues, I mean, there's a lot to take in before the game, and you're doing all the warming up as fans are getting kind of ramped up for the game. You look at what he did tonight. I mean, what are your impressions of Mercado taking the hill tonight?
Yeah, pretty amazing, actually. I mean, I really liked the way he threw the ball in spring training. I know that the staff did. I know that the staff was confident in this guy, and I think when a staff is confident in you and your teammates are confident in you, I think it makes you feel a little bit more at ease. But granted, I mean, you can feel as confident as you want, but it's the major leagues, and now you're expected to start in a major league game in Wrigley Field. It's a big deal. I couldn't feel my feet the first time I stepped on a major league field, and for him, I mean, I like to read faces. I think you talked about it a little bit also, Ricky, at some point. But the fact that he just looked like he was comfortable. He didn't look like he was scared. I love to read faces, and when I look at Michael Mercado's face on the mound, regardless of the situation, he seemed very calm, very collected, and very gathered, and I was really impressed the way he handled things.
What is that like, and is it any different in April when it hasn't bloomed yet versus right now where there is a little fluff to it?
It's no different at all. It's brick back there, baby, and it's hard, and it's not moving. I made a play one time years ago thinking that I had a little cushion, and I caught it and went to the, kind of braced for it, but I mean, it's a hard impact there. These guys, all three of them made excellent defensive plays today, and it's not easy here in Wrigley because the wind does swirl. There is the difficulty with the ivy and the wall, but Castellanos and Rojas, as well as Brandon Marsh, made really nice running catches in the outfield today, and that was big for them.
Okay. If you just stand by for about 15 minutes, we'll get back to you.
I'm out of here.
Continue the
done with you.
interview.
Sean, I'm gone.
Okay, all right.
I'm out.
Okay.
Oh, I know
Sean
the
Kane.
nightlife in Chicago. Ruben's out.
Sean Kane. By the way, look at the arms. Look at the guns. He's working out. Look at that. This way to the beach. Look at that.
12-ounce curls is what he's doing.
All right, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Ruben Amaro Jr. joining us.
So when he gets ahead of the count, he gets to like an 0-1, 0-2 count. He can throw that breaking ball that will freeze the daylights out of a hitter. And the one thing to watch with him, especially if he's in a 2-strike count, and he drops either that curveball or that cutter on the outside part of the plate, you watch the hitter's hands. You see their hands drop, they're beat. And I saw that a couple times tonight, and that's good because he wasn't really throwing that pitch on the inside part of the plate to the right-handers. So what they're seeing is a pitch coming at them, and they quit on it. Their hands quit on it. And once their hands quit on it, you're done with your swing anyways. But he's got that kind of stuff that freezes people, which that's just a bonus. You have that sinker that's coming back this way. Then you have the cutter that's doing the complete opposite. So you're trying to make a decision one way or the other, and sometimes you don't have enough time.
He's 25 years old.
He's got good stuff.
He had Tommy John surgery in 2019. It kept him out for parts of 3 seasons, including because of the pandemic. Now he's back. And when you look at that, there's not being able to react because you've never seen a pitcher before, and then there's a guy who just slays.
Well,
and
there's also
look like the latter.
There's also a guy that goes out there and has a good attitude about it. We've seen guys come up to the big league level and look like a deer in headlights, and that's the last thing you need to see, especially on a team that has, World Series aspirations. And this is a guy that came up and he threw the daylights out of the ball, just like he was in the minor leagues. I found that probably was the most interesting thing he said is that, well, once I got on the mound, it was just business as usual. That's a good sign.
What impressed you the most about Michael Mercado on his first major league start?
First inning, got in trouble and worked out of it. So that tells you a little bit about his makeup and his poise. He threw strikes. Fastball had good velo, looked like it had good carry on it. Cutter was really effective, and he landed his breaking ball enough just to keep him off everything else. So I thought he was really good.
The efficiency that you had in that 4th and 5th innings, did that kind of change the equation for you at all in terms of how long he went? Was that kind of what you had in mind, how long he pitched?
Yeah, I said before the game, 80, 85 pitches, so he ended up at 78. So I wasn't going to send him out for 2 more pitches.
To end his night on with those 2 innings, what did he show you in the 4th and 5th there, going through the lineup?
Yes, he had 28 pitches in the 3rd inning, something like that. So he settled back in and just stayed after it. Like I said, great poise.
And how much do you think it helps a guy like that in his first start to get early runs of support?
Oh, absolutely. We get the double from Stubby, and then Trea goes off with a couple of home runs and a RBI base hit. But yeah, you get a lead for him, and it can work the other way too. It can put more pressure on a guy because he's got the lead and he doesn't want to give it up. So, but he held his own. He was great.
With the guys that you have out now, it must be kind of nice to see those 2 doubles in the second. They weren't the hardest hit balls, but they got through. You guys got 2 runs off of it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how hard you hit them. Just if they're well placed, it's good.
You mentioned the first inning, 2 guys on, he falls behind 2-0 and 3 straight fastballs. Does that speak, I guess, to his confidence in his
stuff,
that he can do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just the success and the confidence that his entire pitching staff has had throughout most of the season. Is that the kind of thing that you think a young guy can feed off of, that it can kind of
Sure.
penetrate?
He knows he's surrounded by really good pitchers, so he doesn't have to carry the load.
guys are wearing those T-shirts to support the All-Star Game, voting, I guess, Trea making his case.
Sure.
Mookie Betts. How much do you think it would mean to these guys in here to hit maybe 3 All-Star infielders?
Start. It'd be huge because they pull for each other. I'd wear a shirt too, but I gotta have all the players on my chest because I can't show favoritism.
They couldn't make you a special one, huh?
Yeah.
Overall, is it the production from the catchers, offensively and
It's
defensively?
been great. They've done a great job with JTL. And like I've said all along, it's about next man up and people stepping up, and they've done that.
With Stott batting lead off, Rob, how do you see him, if at all, changing his approach, knowing that he's got Trea behind him?
I don't think he changed it. I think he's who he is. He takes a lot of pitches. He knows the strike zone. He's been hitting the ball hard, and now they're starting to fall a little bit. So I don't think he really changes the approach all that much.
What did you think of the play Nick made in the first, in the Ivy?
In the first and in the ninth.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a good play too. He's played well defensively. He's really improved in the last couple of years, and I'm happy for him.
In the absence of JT Realmuto, inside the box score of a 6-4 win. Stott 2 for 5.
That's good news.
Yes, it is. Trea Turner, we've talked about at length. Alec Boehm 0 for 3. Brandon Marsh, nothing. Nick Castellanos scores a run. 1 for 3, works that walk. Cody Clemens scores a run as well. David Dahl, nothing tonight. Garrett Stubbs, important contribution. And Johan Rojas, 1 for 4, strikeout, but a nice catch out at
nice
the
catch
Ivy.
out in center field.
That is not easy.
That
That's
wall is
hard.
brick, by the way. That's not a lie. That is a brick hard wall. And you run into that thing, you're going to pay for it.
Yeah, thank goodness that they did not. But Castellanos got something in his eye. Rojas, you could see him pause for a moment, like that was way harder than I thought it was going to be.
Well, you look at it and it looks like, okay, I'm going to go into the bushes. No, those aren't bushes. Those are literally vines with leaves on them.
Yeah.
You've seen it without the leaves on it.
Yeah, it does not.
There's a brick wall there.
right there. Here is Trea Turner, tonight's offensive star on this win.
I'm going to assume that you knew those were going to be out?
Yeah, left center's pretty close here, and spun him pretty good, so figured.
What do you make of Mercado's composure?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was talking to Cap about it. Thought it was great. And, he made some good pitches. I think it was to Suzuki after he gave up that run, and I think that's what's most important, is to kind of have that composure and still compete and not get rattled by anything. So I thought he did a great job.
You guys as an offense, did it feel like important to give a young guy like that some early support?
I mean, you want to give everybody, that support. I think just it's good when we're scoring runs up and down the lineup. Somebody had that big hit, get us going, and then kept adding on. So, it's important for him, but I think it's just important in general to try to get that lead and give our pitchers a chance because they've been really good all year.
I'm sure it's always nice to hit a couple balls out, but is it especially nice when you have the guys that your offense has out for you to kind of step up and be that power source?
Yeah, for sure. It's that fine line of trying to make an impact but not do too much. I was, a few days ago, I was trying a little too hard maybe, and now feel the swing is getting there, and it's getting good pitches to hit and just not missing them. So, every day, like I said, it's something different, but we got faith in all the guys in here.
The whole next man up mentality you hear in all sports, sometimes just lip service, but with this team, it's kind of come true. Is that a matter of just having a lot of good players? What would you attribute that to?
I think it's a lot of good players, but I think a lot of guys want to play. Like, everybody's excited for the opportunity, and I think that's really important. I don't know if that's always the case with everyone. Not that they don't want to play, but guys are itching to play, and I think that's really cool. And when their name's called, it's their time to kind of prove what they're capable of, and we got good players on top of that. So I think a combination of those two things is kind of what you're seeing.
You guys are wearing those T-shirts before the game. How much would it mean for you to start definitely with Bryce at first, most likely with Bohm at third.
Yeah, it'd be cool. I think anytime you can get teammates together, I think it's really cool in the All-Star game. But for me personally, I think just the way it started last year, just to even be in this not possibility, but in this situation, I think is a win for me. So I'm happy about it. But whatever happens, happens, and those guys deserve it. Bohm and Bryce deserve it, and I'm excited for them. No, I don't do that a lot. I let those guys do their thing. I talk to the pitching coaches every once in a while if I see something to kind of let them relay stuff. But sometimes you don't know what makes guys tick or not, and I don't want to necessarily go in there. And I'm always listening, but I let JT, Stubby, and the pitching coaches do a lot of that stuff. And then if I feel like I need to add something, I will.
You mentioned the Suzuki at bat after he gave up the run. In the first inning, he had 2 on, 2 out.
Oh yeah.
Gets out of that.
Yep.
How important do you think that was for him, just to maybe get his feet on the ground a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. I know he had that inning the other day, but the start is a little different. I forgot about that, but yeah, that was big for him too. I think that a lot of times the first inning is kind of not blown out of proportion, but there's some guys that struggle in the first inning and then settle in. But if you could throw a 0 up there, get the ball rolling, I think that's big. And like you said, to give up those couple hits and then still get out of it, I think that gives him confidence. And you saw he kind of settled in after that. It was really good.
Trey, what stood out to you about the quality of Bryson's at bats in the leadoff role?
Yeah, he's always given good quality at bats. He's been walking a lot this year. I know he wants to hit better, and he expects a lot of himself, which is a good thing. So he's always working, and tonight to be frustrated and I think he was 0 for 2 and kind of got some balls that he thought he should hit, and we were talking about hitting and whatnot, and then to put those good swings in the next 2 at bats, I think that's big, and that's who he is, and the quality's always going to be there, and it's as long as he doesn't get frustrated at himself and mad at himself, he can always compete, and he's a good player.
Michael Mercado, here he is post-game on his debut performance.
Can you describe emotions of making your first start at Wrigley Field, coming away with the win, 5 innings, 1 run? What is that like?
Yeah, it's like making my debut. It's one of those things that you kind of dream about doing at a place so historical. But it was a great team win too, and I'm just happy that I could contribute. So,
What enabled you to settle in kind of after first inning?
I think just the confidence I have in myself, the confidence that these guys in the clubhouse have for me. We go back to what we've always been doing, and for me, that's pitching. So I think being able to settle in and treat it like any other game is huge.
And to end your night on a high note like that, the 4th and 5th, going through efficiency, is that the kind of thing you feel like you carry forward to the next start?
Oh, for sure, yeah. You always want to build off, each outing off of each other, and some are going to be good, some are going to be bad, but you hope to take, the good things with the good ones and try to pick out 1 or 2 things with the not so good ones. But yeah, having, ending it well like that is huge. So.
2 on, 2 out, and it's 2-0 at half in the first inning. What's kind of going through your head there?
I think just let's throw some strikes here. I have a lot of confidence in my fastball, and I think at that point I was just like, okay, throw it in the zone and see what happens. So.
Same thing in the 3rd inning. It was 28 pitches. The last one he threw was 97, I think, to Suzuki.
Yeah.
And that's why you just reach back for whatever you got.
Yeah.
Or do you feel the effects of maybe the added strength too, because I know that's been a thing for you.
Yeah.
It's a long inning.
Right. Yeah, I think that's one of those pitches where in your mind you're like, okay, I got to give it my best one here, and for that was, attacking in the zone with what I think is my best pitch. So, and the velo is the velo, but to be able to know that I can reach back and do that when I need it is huge.
Were the nerves any different for your first major league start compared to your first major league appearance? Like just walking into the mound or the bullpen or anything like that? It was a different words? Crazy?
Yeah, both times I feel like I felt more nervous actually just warming up pregame. Funny enough, I think after that first inning, like I said, I was able to settle in a little easier. But I think that's normal with any start, no matter if it's here in AAA or any time in my career. I think getting that first inning out of the way and kind of going from there It's big.
You had some friends in the stands here.
Yeah.
Alex Egan and his parents were out there. They said they
Yeah.
got in at 4:30 in the morning. What does it mean to you to have to make that trip to see your first start?
Oh, it's huge. I have so many great supporters back home who would love to be here, but to have friends like that from back home that are willing to make the trip is so much fun. I'll definitely be seeing them tomorrow.
What have you noticed, Michael, is unique about how the Phillies teach pitching since you joined the organization?
I think they've just taught me to have a lot of confidence in who I am as a pitcher. They haven't tried to change anything about me. It's they're telling me, hey, you're really good. Go out and do what you know how to do. I think being on such a great team and them having that kind of confidence in you is so big, and I think a lot of people feed off of that. So.
Something you heard from some of the veteran starters that's kind of stayed with you either since spring or just in the last couple of weeks? Advice that really resonated? Yeah,
I think we just have conversations every once in a while. It's cool to bounce things off those guys, whether it be pitches, situations. They've all been super welcoming, and I think my kind of personality fits in with some of the guys who are a little bit more on the calm side, especially in the starting staff. Yeah. So it's fun to kind of have conversations with those guys.
And how is Garrett unique among catchers in terms of how he talks to you either before a start during a start? Is it jokes and light things to keep you light?
Yeah, no, he's really good at keeping things light. That's for sure. He's such a great guy to have in the locker room. I don't think his value can be matched in that sort of sense. But he's a great communicator behind the plate. He's always doing his homework, so that we on the mound don't have to think too much about things. So.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.